real wood burner, everything will move.
So you'll see in here we have our previous reading adoption. There's no place else to put it. So it gets put in here. Take a peek in there.
You got 50 over here? 55?
Oh my golly, in here.
Wind blowing?
Oh, I just saw your message. You're like, okay, I'm out the door. I got to know. I got to figure out how to go. Were you like stuck out there? But it was locked. Then it was locked. There's another hall. Sorry. No, it's traffic. Make sure you just pop your head in the room. See what's in there. And these things in the hallways. This is for drama and choir. We can't get rid of them. We have to store them somewhere. So they're stored here.
These are the existing lockers, or original lockers. These are big.
We're going to go in, Darcy, I'm going to take them in here this way. Because I think this is...
I think they're big because they were planning to put them in the locker.
Oh, right, okay.
I have to share while I was in high school, and mine were a quarter the size.
Well, the high school up there. Actually, I gotta admit, maintenance is also, you know, this came out of the high school shop.
So as you come in here, you'll see this was an awesome space. This is a science complex. We're going to walk through. There are 4 large classrooms, all fully equipped for science in here, with a nice closet in between. So we're just going to walk through them and keep that in mind. This was science, and you can see we still have lots of cabinets and all kinds of stuff right in here.
This is all, this is the table. Yeah, they were doing it this week.
Safety, right? So triggers couldn't be seen when they were in hallways, like you couldn't keep track of everyone and everything.
Not enough staff, because the building was built for a lot more people. So that meant there were more staff at that time, so that wasn't an issue. But when you reduce staff so much, that there's just not enough people to look in every nook and cranny at this point.
Well, it's like basically right there, and there, and there.
Yeah.
You staff lots of.
So you got rid of all the metal shop stuff? Well, he still has, I mean, Joseph will. Yeah, and you got the plasma counter. Yeah. That was the van for their science table? This is the chemistry lab.
You mean as far as like for because part of the safety issue was that when this school was built, there were a lot more staff members here to watch the kids. And as we lost so much population for this school, there are fewer and fewer staff members to watch kids in hallways, in the nooks and crannies. So that was an issue in that way. There are a couple of other reasons for safety for this building, but that was primarily one of them. And I'll have either Corey or Tim address that as well. But as you can see, this hall is lined with netting. And so last year they were doing their spring practices in here because it's inside, it's an empty space, perfectly good place for kids to be, except for the fact they're throwing balls. And so they're hitting asbestos tiles, they're hitting the floors, they're hitting the lockers. And so we had to ask ourselves, with that damage, do we want that to happen to this building? Because we don't know what we're going to do with the building. So do we stop that damage now and then, to preserve what we do have? And we made the decision to do that. So that's why the kiddos aren't in this hallway. It wasn't a popular decision, but it was one that needed to be made. And so as you see, you might see some ball marks and stuff on walls as we go down. But the safety issue, talk about the safety issues.
Well, how many kids did you have in here when at the last year was occupied? It was just over 300, wasn't it?
Yeah, around 300.
350. The building's designed for twice that.
Yeah.
And this whole wing wasn't even being used. except for maybe 3 or 4 classes.
Yeah, if you've got space, we will fill it.
Right.
You know, and so it didn't necessarily have to be used, but it was, you know, for part of the day for different things, and so.
So
just
you're
another people.
paying to heat a lot of the building that was being underused, so.
And the heating units were failing. If we're going down, you can see the water down the wall. They were
And they're
breaking
noisy.
and failing, and they were very noisy,
Yeah.
always very noisy. And even some of the newer units were starting to fail.
Yeah.
That's the smell you smell is actually the glycol that's in the heating system that's leaking out in different places.
Keep it.
Glycol's antifreeze to keep
Yeah.
the water from freezing.
And they were saying the water fountains wouldn't work if kids were using the bathrooms, flushing, so during breaks, kids couldn't get a drink if people were using the bathroom, and then if they were using the bathroom, it was backing up
When
in the
they-
kitchen.
When they built this building, all the water lines run underneath the slab. Today, when we do that, we put all the water lines above the ceiling so that we could have access to them. The problem is the ground here is real acidic from the old mine tailings and things like that. It deteriorates the pipes, so there's some issues with plumbing in here. The, all the most of the unit ventilators in all the classrooms are original. And so what is that, they're almost 50 years old now? And typically they're good for about 25, 30 years. So a bunch of them have failed and Tim's replaced them as they have failed, but they're also to the point where it's hard to get parts for them anymore too.
Oh, yeah, they're involved. And it's heat only, no
No air
AC.
conditioning.
One thing that Tim's done a good job is we've done roof replacements on the building. That's the biggest thing people do is neglect the roofs, and then you start getting water leaks, and then the rest of the building falls apart. If you keep the roof in good shape, you keep the leaks to a minimum, then you can preserve what's inside here a lot better.
So you see, this building isn't beyond repair.
No,
It has some function, but as Corey and I were talking about, it'll cost you.
right. One of the reasons with this one was chosen to be the one to close is because it has the highest cost to fix things in it.
Right.
All the exterior walls are not insulated. We can fix that by injecting foam into the insulation, into the cells. All the windows are single pane glass. There's things like that that can help a lot with the energy efficiency of the building and making it operate better. And we've got, when we go back, we got a bunch of different ideas of what that you can do to reuse this building too. So.
Okay, so we'll proceed down and continue to look in doors, and then we'll go out this way and go up to the library. Can you replumb it?
Yeah. Yeah, most of it's just running through the bathroom.
The building used to originally ended right there. That was added.
They're all pretty simple.
I mean, I know it's my little tiny house, but.
No.